TikTok isn't letting me comment again. So this comment reads, yeah, and I appreciate the amount of work that it takes to do that. We are only human, but small sample would be a limitation of it being a robust study, no. So I wanted to reply to this. I thought I did, and then it said, no, sorry, you can't comment anymore. So let me show you what I did in my dissertation, okay? Because I think that's going to help you and everyone else like understand what exactly I mean when I say that I understand to an extent why this research group, even an entire group of like 4 people, only did 133 videos, okay? So in my dissertation, what I did is I was grounding it in, among other ideas and methods, Dana Boyd's ideas of a technological affordance. And I was making the argument, for maybe the very first time ever, I'm not entirely sure, that TikTok is a valuable place of study because of what it does that has changed everything. Like, I'm the first person that's ever done a dissertation about this, as far as I know. So my dissertation wasn't actually about this inherently. It was about the socio-sexual ecologies in the algorithmic age. Okay, so what I did is I took 75 biomimetic sex tech advertisements and I said what rhetoric are in them. So I took the language in it and I said, what are the implications of the language that is being used to sell these devices to people that are assigned female at birth or have vulvas? Because obviously not everyone assigned female at birth has vulvas specifically. I had about 75 advertisements, which is to say my TikTok videos were my secondary data. They weren't my first data, but I still gathered 431 TikTok videos that I was going to encapsulate the advertisement rhetoric in to see what the current discourses were on TikTok for people, because disproportionately the people I'm seeing on TikTok are cisgender. They identify as woman and they were assigned female at birth, okay? And they use language that also indicates that. So basically, and the app isn't sophisticated enough to be able to do anything besides a binary concept of biological sex, which it then falsely conflates with gender. That's a whole other story that I could get into in greater length. But my point is that this was my secondary data, and I gathered over 400 videos that I then meticulously went to every single one. And I saved these videos months and months in advance because they were between like 2020, 2021, okay? I didn't have any of the information because the software doesn't exist currently that I know of, or at least I didn't have access to it. I'd never been shown how to do it. So I created my own method because these things on new platforms don't exist. Like, I don't know if a lot of people understand or know, especially if they're not researchers. You wouldn't, because why would you think about it? It's not something that like is relevant to your life. It would be stressful to think about. My point is that there are softwares that can gather information from platforms that are based in text. But in a platform like TikTok that has never existed before, ever, which is why I was making a case to study it, because it has not been done before. So I created it and I said, this is valuable. The user base has exploded. All the research that said it's exploded over COVID came out, and I read it after I made this argument. That's how new it is. Like, I don't think people understand, and I really haven't broadcasted how big of a deal this was, because it seemed like everyone got it, and why would I tell them something they already know? Anyway, the point is that I did this myself for the very first time. And these researchers, odds are good, have no idea that my dissertation exists. They already think they need to make the same argument I made a year ago, because I finished my dissertation in February 2022. I defended it and got my PhD like a couple months after that. So like they couldn't have possibly known that I did this. And so they thought they were probably recreating the wheel, because they were in their minds. Do you see what I'm saying? But a lot of people who aren't autistic struggle, especially academics, to think outside of a conformist box that doesn't make them feel like they can create a method. And then they also, unfortunately, because autism and I benefit from the monotropism that my autism gives me, they're not going to hyperfocus for 5 whole days from the time that they wake up to the time that they go to sleep to code and analyze more than 100 videos. It actually is surprising to me that anyone did anything relevant, even remotely, to what I did, because it was nothing more than obsessive. Like you don't understand. If like I explained this before, I had the videos only. I was going off of the tag, what the creator was wearing in their clothes. I tried to search for the tag, but some of the videos, which is why I had 431, and I ended up with 428, because there were a couple that were duplicates that I didn't notice because I was gathering them over such a long period of time. And then also some of them I just couldn't find the information for. because it was literally every single 428 of them, every single video, which included the extra ones I couldn't find. I had to manually go. Have you ever tried to search for anything in TikTok if you don't know how to find it? Because that is actually impossible. I was sometimes taking a half hour to find a single video, just to find it. Like, I don't think people, that's why I'm saying, when I say I don't think anyone's ever going to replicate what I did, I don't think they're ever going to do it. Like, I mean that. Because it was such an enormous amount of labor just for my secondary data for my project to contextualize the advertisements that are biomimetic sex tech. I don't think anyone's going to ever do what I did. Because this, and it tells me that, I already thought that, but this tells me that if this team of 4-ish researchers would only gather 133 using a different method, there's just no way that a single person is going to do what I did again, because they probably aren't autistic. They won't benefit from monotropism. They won't be able to fixate long enough to do what I did, at least over such a short period of time, because I did it in about a week. But every single day I did it for 12 hours for 5 days-ish to do what I did in the 5th chapter of my dissertation, which is why I'm turning it into an academic monograph, because I should. Now that I'm at least somewhat less exhausted from doing all of the other projects, writing, and this has been read, my dissertation, by like over 1,350 people. And I think it's because I haven't been giving myself the credit that I deserve to show people that this is a big deal, what I did. Like, ultimately, my argument is that there's been a mechanization of humans that's flipping into a humanization of objects, and that's just a fancy way of saying we've viewed the human body as a machine. We've dehumanized the most of us. The concepts of authority have always been incredibly inequitable, and now it's flipping into the humanization of objects, where we're describing the human body we have for so long as a machine, and now we're creating robots that are trying to be humanoids. But they're doing it because it's profitable, and because we've been so dehumanized for so long that they can actually seamlessly create technologies and try to sell them to us as if they are our human replacement. See, look, I identified 3 duplicates among the 431 videos. This is a very big deal what I did, and I'm just the worst at self-promotion. So if you can please help me, I'm really glad that this video got any views at all, the one that I'm responding to this comment on. But hopefully this all makes more sense. I didn't anticipate for this to be actually however many minute long video this is, but hopefully this makes more sense, because I know a bunch of people, I think, don't understand what I'm saying when I'm saying, sure, but it actually took an enormous amount of labor for this team to even code and analyze and find 133 of these videos. It is actually a miraculous feat to do just that, and they shouldn't be, it shouldn't be belabored as if that's not the case, because I understand why people think it's not a big deal, because there's a big difference between scrolling through your phone and just seeing 133 videos and using them as a research objects of study. Those things are not equivalent. And it's important that we don't act like they are, because they're not. It's a much more elaborate process.